As you probably heard in the background, we are almost underway, but first and foremost, good evening to all of you. If my webcam decides to work, welcome on in to another round of SSRL. Season 7 is round 5 in Mexico City, of course, where the real-life Grand Prix was just held only yesterday. As you can see here, we are 1 week away from approaching our halfway point, and we will talk more about that qualifying format going into next week later on in the broadcast. But apart from that, rest of the season still to go. But let's have a look at your driver standings coming into today. Not in full view because we keep getting new drivers. Flipping heck, how big has this list gotten? But anyway, there you go. It is Babish on top by 73 points, followed by Rush Siri behind by 11 points with 62. And then it's Herman rounding out your top 3 with Andy Andre and Monksha rounding out your top 5. 6th to 10th is Race Chase, Andrew, Wouter, Mustafa, and Quincy, followed by Energetic, Ryan, Bards, Kavachka, Tarkangino, Flip, Crank, Kwan, and Shaggy, with all your reserves rounded out by Dage David, Salvi, Pleasant Snake, Fellow Son, Trugster, and Jolly Boy John. In your constructor standings, which isn't quite centered, but now is, it is Williams leading the way by 11 points to Alpine, with the Ferrari strong in 3rd place, only a point separating them from McLaren in 4th, with the Aston Martins rounding out the top 5. Very, very tight, as we have to have a lobby reset. So that actually gives me a little bit of time just to go through all of this. Weather was wrong. Okay, thank you very much for letting me know. But otherwise, rounding out your top 5 there, Aston Martin. But then from 6th to 10th, it is Mercedes, Racing Bulls, Red Bull, Kick Sauber, and the Haas. But we do not have a race feed just yet. So we're just going to have to wait a little while for that. But last time here at the Mexico Grand Prix, we visited in season 4 even. And it was victory to Fellow Son at the time, of course. Mostly racing in Division 2 nowadays, but 2nd there was Dage David, 3rd place was Energetic, 4th was Herman, and 5th place Monksha. Herman hoping for a bit better this time around and has a genuine championship on the line. Pole was a 1:13.989, I can tell you that for free, with the new rule being wet weather qualifying. We will not be that will not be anywhere near beaten, so I can assure you that times will be slower than that. I'm just trying to get into the lobby for years now. And yeah, no, we're going to be waiting a little bit. So, lobby reset due to the wrong weather. And, well, we'll just have to take it from there. But the fastest lap from that race came from Danger David, which is a 1:16.137. And you may remember he actually took that championship to the final round, where there was only a 3-point separation between the top 3, which was, at that point, Andy Andre, Herman, and, of course, the Scottish driver of Danger David. Talking about weekends, of course, we have just had the Mexican Grand Prix, and of course, you might know that virtual safety car kind of wasn't necessary, in all honesty. Weekend was good, but yeah, no. So apart from that, I had a pretty. I unfortunately was working over the weekend, so I didn't get much time to relax. But just looking at the chat now, my weekend was good. Played a water polo match with a sprained ring finger. I scored and we won. I did enjoy the race, but the VSC spoilt the fun, and I do agree with that. I do think it was a good race. And then the FIA were hurt themselves. And imagine if that was to happen in league racing. That would be a certain right here. But SSRL is silly enough to have something like that happen, I suppose. I think that can happen in SSRL. Imagine Quincy bringing in a rule. Hey, we bring out VSC on the final lap, so everyone has to slow down. And then with half a lap to go, when the leader goes, everyone goes, and then we just go racing again. I mean, Quincy has these ideas, I swear, that he's thinking about how to cause as much chaos in his league as possible. I would if I could. Well, there you go. That all but confirms it. I know enough about Quincy to be inside of his head in a adminning kind of sense, but yeah. Apart from that, not really much. Apart from that, I don't really know enough about Quincy. Couldn't tell you his deepest, darkest secrets, but that's neither here or there. Update on the lobby, though. We do have all 18 drivers back in, so I do believe we will be underway in a few moments' time. You know, I live for the chaos. I sure do. of course, there. In case if anybody doesn't know, that is, of course, our head admin, who is not with us this evening, sadly. But we do have 18 drivers here with us tonight, and each one of them will be providing their entertainment in their own way. Will we see 4 or 5 wide going into turn 1? Well, we just need to knock out a single session, single 18-minute session of qualifying, and then and then we will see what happens. I could be the chaos bringer. Quincy, you might have an offer there that you cannot refuse. Who knows, though? But here we go. So, of course, I usually start with some fun facts about the track, don't I? If I need to pass the time a little bit, I can certainly give you some now. Well, the first track was first opened in 1959 and was originally named the Autodromo Magdalena, and I'm going to mess this up, and I know I will, Mixhuca. I probably haven't said that correctly at all, and I do apologize. Do-do-do-do. Uh-oh, we have a doo-doo up the behaving. Okay. That's not what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting something else there, but I'm not disappointed. Let's see. Yeah, so a couple of motorsports thing. Up the Bavish. Okay, up the Bavish. There we go. That's better. That was something along the more lines than I was expecting. But at the moment, it's located within the public part of the Magdalena Mixhuca Sports City in southeast Mexico City. The circuit is owned by the government, but is currently operated under concession by the Corporazione Interamericana de Entretenimiento. Please do not make fun of me for that. I would have done more research if I had the time. But anyway, that organization has welcomed motorsport disciplines such as NASCAR, of course, Formula One, and plenty of others. And the current configuration for the Grand Prix circuit from 2015 till now is at 4.3 kilometers, which rounds out to about 2.7 miles, with 17 turns and a lap record held around here by Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes W12 from 2021. That was a 1:17.774. But here we are. We have a wet weather qualifying. Intermediates are the way to go, of course, forced by the rules as well. And we'll see how tonight goes on as we begin our journey through 18 minutes of qualifying. Andy Andre, really looking for a recovery, of course, coming into tonight, a 5-time champion of SSRL, trying to make it a 6th place, but tonight he's at a big disadvantage. It's only 4th place, but 28 points away, and I think you would really have to go back to the early days of Season 3 to find a disadvantage of that, maybe even Season 2. And so Andy coming into the back foot, and his qualifying wasn't really all that spectacular last week either. Could only manage 9th place and then a 7th place finish in the race. Of course, that was in Cota. Maybe Mexico will be more suited to him, but at the moment, the Mercedes and Romanian pairing not quite coming together this season. But for Bavish, his first time racing in a full season, and he's going to be very happy with that. 73 points to his name and 11 points to rush the series. But Herman as well with a podium last week in Cota. Of course, the circuit where he dominates at, couldn't quite beat Danger David to the line. And in the end, settled for second best. But either way, a good haul of points coming his way. And he's overtaken his championship rival from seasons long past. And we will see how he does tonight. Can he continue and make it 2 podiums in a row? One says that he may need to. Of course, Bavish as well has also struggled with wet qualifying, and he'll be one to look out for as the season continues to progress. Of course, Danger David, your winner last time out. And, of course, the fact that he's racing here tonight, I believe he's getting at some point. We have a bit of information from Quincy here saying that Andy Andre is actually getting married this month. So, of course, congratulations to the GOAT of SSRL. And we wish you and your soon-to-be wife a very happy life. Congratulations again, Andy. And as we now begin, it is a short lap here around the Autodromo Rodriguez circuit. I believe, no, Hermanas Rodriguez circuit, beg your pardon. And now down the straight here, one of the longest on the F1 calendar. Of course, starting on pole, not necessarily an advantage here, with a long run from the start for the straight into turn 1 as he approaches, slightly locking the front right-hand side of his tyre. But now you need to slow it all down and continue to keep just on the throttle and nearly spinning out there. Car wanted to go right, but he controlled it to the left, and he continues going in the right direction. Brake here for turn number 4, and this is, again, you need to be easy on the throttle, especially in these wet conditions. The intermediate's not used for grip, but to move moisture across away from the surface. Turn 6 here, that considered one singular turn, and now we get underway again, but man, you have to kind of put on the anchors yet again. Left-hander of 7, now the right-hander of 8, then the left-hander of 9. These corners come at you thick and fast. Max Verstappen struggling here in the real Grand Prix. I wonder who will struggle and who will conquer that section in tonight's virtual Grand Prix. Approaching turn number 12 now. Again, back on the anchors. Get that car slowed down and turned in. But now slam on the anchors to come to almost a complete stop. Get back underway again, but not for too much longer. You've got a sharp right-hander there and another one straight after that. And now your lap is almost complete, but control your throttle. Fight the car on the exit as Vincenzo is doing. And that's a 1:28.2 to begin the qualifying session. And that's the banked lap to be beaten. Another car across the line there. That was Mr. Walter. Nearly 0.6 of a second there behind the Haas driver. And that will be surely looking for an improvement as the session goes on. Herman next to the line there. A 1:28.640. So splits the Haas and the Racing Bulls. But remember, these are all early times. Verstappen also to the line. A second driver in the 1:29. So actual fact for Mr. Walter, that was actually nearly 1.6 seconds. I do apologise there. As Salvi now, of course, across the line. He full-time racer in Division 2. Now, I do believe for any drivers, a rule brought in for Division 2, for any drivers that have raced here in Division 1, you do start from the back in Division 2 for qualifying. That was a rule introduced last week. And there's also been a lot of debate around a certain rule that has been talked about with the admins, of course. The rule of retiring in the pit lane. And there was a point brought up by one of the drivers saying, well, even if you do ban it this way, you know, people will find creative ways around it, like, you know, deliberately clashing in the pits. So at the moment, there is just a bit of a debate here on how that rule will be implemented. I do believe they are looking at a strike system, but of course we'll announce that in good time. But otherwise, we continue to affairs on the track for the time being. We are looking at Andrew trying to come to the line. He qualified in 12th position, but found 7 places in Kota to find 5th place. And going into tonight, he is currently 7th place in the championship, hoping for better tonight. Maybe he can finally find a podium, one step at a time for the other Romanian, as Herman the German goes to temporary pole position for now, but will stay with the Aston Martin of Andrew. And we'll see what time he can set. He's just going through the final couple of corners now. This stadium section, of course, was used as actually a baseball stadium, but has since been converted into a Formula 1 track. And Andrew straight to the top there as the drugster says, nah, by nearly 0.7 of a second, goes to pole position for the time being, but still nearly, well, just under 12 minutes to go as of right now. 3 drivers, well, technically 3 drivers on a flying lap who haven't set a time, Bart's being one of them. Red Bull 1-2, one of the rarest combinations now in Formula 1, as Quan hasn't read the memo. Don't know if somebody wants to let him know that we are not on full wet tyres. Half the grid are on intermediates. Somebody let Quan know that he does not need to be on full wet tyres. We are within the rules to be on intermediates. But let's have a look at your runner-up in the championship as of right now. 11 points separates him and Bavish going into tonight. Where is Bavish at the moment? Am I blind or something? No, he is right here with us. He is there in 10th place. That took me a while. But Russasiri looking to be ahead of Bavish tonight, and also looking to be looking to be ahead of Herman as well. Herman, of course, creeping up as we've already pointed out, but Herman also 5 points behind this series, so that will be Nasiri's more immediate worry, and does need a good time here. Needs to find the 127s. 4 drivers have broken into that, and even Race Chase, that's a big one. Race Chase, of course, last week qualifying in 13th, only finding 2 positions in 11th, as then Energetic goes to the line as well in his Kick Sauber. But at the moment there, that's a 127, so maybe even needing low or maybe high 125s. Maybe that's a silly idea that may work. Hessel there, embracing the silly season racing league. Bavish straight to the top, so that means Nasiri does need a time here to at least get him around the ballpark, no pun intended here, of Bavish. Let's see what he can do. He's just got one more corner to go. Russ Nasiri to the line, and that's pole position. He not only beats the ballpark, he hits a home run. Early minutes of qualifying, all 18 drivers have set a time, and yes, that is indeed there. You may have asked for Bavish, but then Rush Nasiri had the ball in his eye line that entire time. Home run at the moment for Rush Nasiri. Vincenzo just came to the line there, I think, to start another flying lap, as then Herman the German finds another 3/10 there. Also, well, no, 2/10 and a bit there to beat Rush Nasiri's time. But of course, these are all early laps. By no means should we be taking these seriously as of right now. With 9 minutes to go, half the session complete, another half to go. And this is where you have to start thinking about, when do I actually set my next pole lap? Because I'm thinking about track evolution, and I also want to think about my tires. What if it rains and you use up all your intermediate tires? But then again, highly unlikely chance of that happening, just considering how these mixed weather races go. But, well, I say mixed weather races. I think I mean to say more real. I think it's called realistic there. 1:25.00 for pole, Dave. I'm a call it here. Okay, then 1:25.0 is the time to beat. More likely to see that from Pleasant Snake in tomorrow evening's Division 2 race. But otherwise, let's see what Rush Nasiri does. Of course, a 1:28.7. He's recharging his battery, but I really want to keep an eye on some of the others, as Bard's there in the Red Bull by over 0.4 of a second. Beats Herman's time for now. But of course, this is the role of track evolution here, as Vincenzo also beaten Herman the German, but can only go up to second place for now. So 1:26.3s, and we are definitely looking at 1:25s, maybe even 1:24s before the end of the session. As you can see how that dry line is starting to form there on the track. Of course, the rain will not stop, so that means we are going to see a wet weather qualifying throughout the entirety, as per the rules now in SSRL for this season's qualifying. Of course, Quincy was worried that it would prove a bit unpopular, but otherwise, drivers have taken to it, to be honest with you. No real complaints from here on out, just frustration more than anything. But they've embraced these little rule changes and these little quirks. Of course, there is another little quirk as well that they've added in. I'm not going to talk too much about that, as I'm currently thinking about it, but that's all I am going to say. Otherwise, we'll see what happens, but maybe I will wait on that a little bit, because we do not have Quincy standing in at the moment. A 1:24.69. Nice time there that Hessel predicts as well. Energetic already in to the 1:25s right there and then. But I do believe we are going to be seeing 1:24s. Rush Nasiri to the line again. 1:26.2 goes up to second place here. But at the moment, yeah, embrace my crazy. Yeah, the embrace my crazy. Yes, they embrace my crazy. Love you guys. We certainly do. And it's been an absolute pleasure to come and have 7 seasons of commentary with all of you. Of course, just for those that don't know, due to my move to the USA, this is sadly my last season of commentary with SSRL. And, well, it has certainly been a great, let's see, season 3. It's certainly been a great 5 seasons, hasn't it, guys? Yeah, no, of course, we'll see what happens, but hopefully I can finish out the season before I do move. But if not, we do have a stand-in ready to take over when the time is needed, if the time is needed, I should say. But anyway, enough misery for one night. Let's see Andrew go to 8th place, a 1:26.8. And that puts him in the top 10 for now. Now, that is a somewhat improvement there. 12th place, but of course, still a few minutes to go. So still probably has one last lap in him. But if we really want to give a shout out to his teammate, the American driver Race Chase, finding pace here in Mexico, in South America. And, well, 126.599 still has time to find, I would say. I think the American driver could be on for a very good result. And he could be on for a podium. And in Division 1, that could be a serious shock there. As I'm also looking for a certain somebody else. But it looks like Andy Andre, not with us tonight for obvious reasons. So, I was going to say that, you know, he needs a good result tonight. But if he's not with us, due to, of course, getting married, well, then that is a more than understandable reason that I can certainly understand. I'll be getting married very, very soon myself. Yeah, no, so I think his championship is probably going to go to one side tonight. And you know what? Giving it up for time with your family, always the best thing in my opinion. So, of course, like I said earlier on in the broadcast, congratulations to Andy. And we'll see what happens. But somebody has just popped the timing boards as, oh, energetic there. Going all hell for leather as he goes through turn number 12 there. He was a bit desperate on his right foot and has invalidated the lap. And so he will go no further. Herman the German now is going to be next. Let's go on board with him. See how he approaches the next half of the track there. Of course, we are looking at maybe, I was going to say probably 116s in the drive. But at the moment, in these wet conditions, you are certainly looking at either a 125 or a high 124. But a 125.0 based impression of Sneak last week. Absolutely. Herman the German now is just coming to the baseball part of the track here. He goes over the curb into turn 12. He goes now 13, 14, 15, and 16 will soon follow with 17 to round it off. And now as he approaches those sections of track now, 16. Now it's going to be 17. Let's see what he can do. It's a 122, 123, 124, 125. That is pole position. For now, there are still 3.5 minutes to go and a couple of more flying laps potentially from the Alpine driver. But Babish here under all sorts of pressure as Trugster beats that time right away. But it looks like we are going to see one heck of a battle. Now, those that are in the pits already, such as Race Chase, Bards, Rush to Siri. Well, I say Bards, but now he's on an outlap, as is Vincenzo, as is Race Chase. So the two in the pits there, Energetic and Rush to Siri, are just hanging on till the last possible minute there, as there's a Mercedes just parking up to allow traffic through so that they don't get a penalty for impeding in qualifying. No, so this is, as far as I believe, let's see, I think Quincy can answer that one a bit better, but I do believe these are equal performance. So each car has each car is basically equal. As there we go, Babish to the line there, third place, but behind Herman the German by 1/1000th of a second there. Goodness me, Babish must be feeling it right now, but also he is nearly 4 tenths behind Trugster. So where has that come from? I'm curious to see who could have a chance of beating that. I would say Danger David, but look at how far back the Scotsman is. As he goes through into Sector 1, he's now 4 tenths ahead there. Let's keep an eye on this Mercedes. He can surely bring us, he will surely segue us into the final few flying laps of the qualifying. I just nearly said Grand Prix there. Rush to Siri, leaving it late. He's coming out of the pit lane now, but he wants to make sure, yes, equal performance. So each car is equal in terms, usually. As, oh, Danger David there has a mistake, and he's got to slow it down and bring it all to a stop, because he is going to, well, if he would have continued, he'd have invalidated the time as Vincenzo allows him through. And Vincenzo very loose when he rejoined the track there. So I really want to see where everyone is. I do believe Sector 1 is Herman approaching that now. Is he on a flying lap? No, he is not. He's just come across the line. But Trugster, I think, might be on his final flying lap. But is there damage to that car? Did I see damage? Hang on a moment. I don't know if I saw damage. No, I didn't. I was just imagining things, chat. I do apologize for misleading you like that. Rush to Siri on his outlap, but that's Quan, his teammate behind. Did he get the memo? He most certainly did. So Quan will be one of the last to complete his flying laps, and Rush to Siri, his teammate, is 2 corners ahead, but also has traffic to deal with. Quan will need his teammate to move out the way, including the Red Bull, but at the moment, it looks like they are just too far away to really cause any damage to Quan's lap. So let's see what he can do. Of course, qualified 16th place last week and finished there in the race. Let's see what Quan can do in that Ferrari as we go on board with him through the final few corners of that section of track, those sweepers. And now it's turn 11 onto a straightaway, separating him from turn 12, 5.7 seconds. And there we go, Quan's met the memo. And he is on intermediate tyres, going much faster, but it still wouldn't really be an impactful time, all things considered. This depends on what he did through sector 1. And now approaching turn 16, down a gear to 2. Very wide through there. That will lose him a lot of time compared to the drivers around him. As we go to the trackside camera, for Quan's time, he goes to 17th, beating Salvi. But that's as far as he's going. Who just came across the line there? That, I think, was an Aston Martin. That was Race Chase to the line there. And he doesn't have another lap in him, surely. But that is 6th place for the American driver so far. But is he safe there? No, he is not. Andrew to the line. 4th place for the Aston Martin. But now, final lap times coming along as Trucksters just go through turn 1. Now it's Danger David out of nowhere at 24.9. Well, there's a time that needs beaten if there ever is one. Important for the championship, but also important for David. Of course, a reserve here. Less pressure on him, as he said in a post-race interview last week, as ADS into the top 10 as well. Another car behind him. Is that Flip? It is not. It's one of the Alpines. It's not Herman. It's probably his teammate. Or was that somebody else? Hang on, I'm trying to identify. That was Babish there. He didn't improve. Herman now. This is oh so important for his championship. Can he find the top 3? He's fighting the car, and he's fighting it all the way to the line. He goes nowhere. A 1:26.0. There's more times to come now. Bards is up a second on his PB, and he finds 3rd place. Great stuff from the Red Bull team. And now there's a Ferrari coming to the line in a mixture of traffic. And Rush the Siri has had an awful qualifying, and he's even had damage to his front wing. That's his qualifying over. His teammate out-qualifies him. Incredible. As Energetic goes to 2nd, making Herman's day worse and Babish's even worse. A top 5 start for the Williams, but wait, there are still times to be done. Moksha is in P. Well, no, Moksha has invalidated. Flip has gone to the pits, so actual fact, there we go. Your run of qualifying is done, and it is Danger David on top yet well, I say yet again, but it was actually David who got 2nd place last week. And now, two and a bit tenths separating David from Energetic, but Babish and Herman with work to do, but Rush the Siri with the worst of it and even out-qualified his teammate. Cook's not on pole, so no reverse grid. So, no reverse grid? No. 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 Not on pole, so no reverse grid. Oh, not on pole, sorry. Yeah, no. I was very confused there for a hot minute. No, I'm not reversing grid on Herman. That would be very unfair, as considering he's already had to restart. But anyway, top 10, Danger David, Energetic, Truckster, Bards and Babish. And then it's Herman the German, Andrew, Wouter, Race Chase and Quan, with 11th to 18th being ADS, Rush the Siri, Moksha, Vincenzo, Flip, with Salvi, Verstappen and Targagino, rounding out the rest of your drivers. Aha, a 1:24.969. I don't think you're far off, actually. It was. So there we go. Hassel's prediction came true there. In the end, it was just not quite the way we thought it would. But anyway, time for a few minutes break. And oh, it's a wet weather race to begin the Mexican Grand Prix here in SSRL. So treacherous conditions at the start of this race. They have to deal with the conditions as they come. They've had 18 minutes of practice. Let's see how a half-distance Grand Prix goes. 36 laps from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez to come your way. Welcome on back. You have so far missed an 18-minute qualifying session to decide places 1 through 18, but otherwise we still have 36 laps of action to come your way. Welcome on in case you have just joined. We have Danger David on pole position, going one better than he did last week, but hoping to also convert that into a win. And our formation lap is about to begin, so we will go through the grid for one last time. For those that have just joined, it is, of course, Danger David on pole position, like we just announced, and it is then Energetic in second place here, with Drugster rounding out your top 3, with Bards in 4th, so a good qualifying for the Red Bull team, who, of course, start tonight in 8th place in the Constructors. Can good fortune come their way in the race. Bavish rounding out your top 5, leading the championship coming into tonight. It is a 16-point separation between him and Herman in 6th place there. Then 7th place is Andrew with Wouter in 8th. Race Chase in 9th, with Quan rounding out your top 10 in one of his best qualifyings in a very long time. ADS in 11th. Rush the Siri in 12th place there. Of course, runner-up to Bavish going into the round and hoping for better. Got impeded in qualifying, though, with damage to his front wing. Moksha in 13th, Vincenzo in 14th, Flip in 15th, Salvi 16th, with Verstappen in 17th, and Tarkagino rounding out the 18 drivers taking part in tonight's Grand Prix. It is a long run into turn 1, so while Danger David will be celebrating pole position here, he will be dreading the start of this race. Needs to get away as best he can, or else Energetic and the 2 Red Bulls will be right on his tail and try to get alongside the Mercedes driver into turn 1. So expect David to cover off that inside as we get off the line. With Energetic, we'll probably have to dash straight to the outside if he possibly can. But of course, traction's not going to be everyone's friend here in these wet conditions to start out here in Mexico. Danger David takes the 17 drivers behind him towards the start-finish line, and the start now is going to be one of the biggest in the Scotsman's career. He's probably not had a start this big since contending for the title back in Season 4. And now he's got an even bigger task ahead. Longest run from the start-finish straight into turn 1. And it is all in the hands of the Mercedes. Here we go. And we are going to be a few moments away from the countdown. All 18 cars are lined up. We are almost ready to go racing. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's going Mexico. That was not long at all. I think that's caught Danger David out. It looks like he's got a good start, but Truckster was lightning off the line. Energetic already alongside and into the lead of the race, but David is fighting back, but it is going to be about 3 or 4 wide going into turn 1. Truckster and David side by side for the lead of the race. Who's going to come out on top? The Red Bulls make contact. It's David for now, but 3 wide into the next turn. It's crazy talk. But that's what's happening here. Truckster's still holding second for now, as Energetic has gone alongside here. The Kick Sauber should be done in a straight line race, and it is. The Red Bull will stay second for now, but Bards is now down to 4th as Herman and Bavish are fighting with one another. Herman dives to the inside there of Bavish, and he's got the move done. Bavish has been overtaken there as the Red Bull gets past the Kick Sauber as Quan and Andrew do battle with one another. Andrew down a position, and that is gonna be settle your pulses down for now and wait till the next offer to take an opportunity. But Flip ignored that, up 3 positions, and he's up 4 now. Race Chase also losing out big time despite his good qualifying as Vincenzo and Moksha swap positions there. But that was Moksha back to 13th. Vincenzo down to 14th there as Bavish is now going alongside Herman yet again. They're going to do side-by-side battling yet again as they did earlier on in the lap. And finally, we have 1 lap completed of this circuit and no major incidents. And indeed, it is all clean. Quite impressive in wet conditions, but look at Danger David. He knows how long that straight is. He's going all the way to the right hand side already, but that Red Bull is very close in tow, but it's not close enough to have a go. No DRS activated in wet conditions, of course. There was a swap there, but where's Babish? And Rush Siri has actually climbed up the field there. He's done an excellent job, and he's on obviously intermediate tires, but Salvi seems like he's had a moment. He's cutting the grass there at turn 2. And now, ADS is also getting alongside Vincenzo. And down the outside, down the straight, and almost into the back of the McLaren. And at the moment now, side by side again, but that is ADS getting the move done on Vincenzo. Vincenzo really struggling this evening, evidently here. Has already lapped 2 out of 36. It's almost completed, I should say. It's not completed just yet. But nobody really getting away from one another. There's only a few 1-second gaps there between Andrew and Quan, and then Race Chase and Moksha. But Race Chase really struggling with these conditions, evidently. So needs to find something here that could bring him back into the range of overtaking Andrew. Of course, like I said, remember, no DRS in these wet conditions. But we are now about to start lap 3, and Danger David has built a bit of a gap. And let's see what he can do. Danger David with the fastest lap of the race there. It's a 1:29.841. Is this rain going to pass here for the drivers? Of course, a lot maybe hoping for that to happen. Here we go. Your top 3 are 5th, 6th, and 7th. Babish trying to get the move done on Energetic, who has been dropping position since the start, but nowhere to go that time around. Rush Siri and Herman nearly went side by side. Battle down at the back there between Tarkagino and Vincenzo. Vincenzo losing a position to the kick Sauber, as Quan losing another position to Flip Namsram there on the exit of turn 3. And now the McLaren is going to try and have a go. I thought I saw DRS opening there for a hot moment, but I don't think it was DRS. I think that was just my mind playing tricks on me. I wish they would keep tracks removed from the IRL calendar in. Yes, of course it is. Oh, there we go. There was a mistake there from the Ferrari, and that has allowed Verstappen and Salvi to get through, along with a few others. But at the moment, we need to keep an eye on how this championship battle is facing out. As Rush Siri has climbed from 12th place to 6th in just a matter of moments, and is now with his rivals here. And these are the 3 that we are looking at. Andy Andre, of course, getting married this week, so he is not with us. He's busy doing wedding preparations. Congratulations to him yet again. And Danger David still finding enough time on the exit of turn 17 to get ahead of Truckster, to make sure he doesn't get overtaken for yet another lap. Lap 4 out of 36 begins, and he is currently leading the way by over 7/10 of a second. But that straight line speed of the Red Bull, definitely rapid, and that's where he's losing the most time otherwise. But now as ADS and Quan are going to do battle side by side here. This is for 15th place. This is, of course, for a single point there. Quan losing that position, and he is back down to where he finished last week, 16th place, hoping to not lose any more. But here we go. Herman and Russell Series side by side, and that is Herman getting the move done. That is 6th place, and he is again looking at Babish and hoping to actually make a move past him on this time of asking. Red Bull 2 and 3 points out Quincy, as Truckster again is getting eerily close to the back of the Scotsman. Has the rain cleared up a little bit? It's certainly not as heavy as it was before. Certainly spits of rain around the track still, so there is still some wet weather driving needing to be done. But it does look like it may clear up. Give it another 10 laps or so, and hopefully for some, we'll see DRS moves again, as that's maybe what Truckster needs, as he messes up the entry into turn number 12 there. Is able to hold off his teammate for the time being, but that means Truckster may have to wait yet another lap to try and have a go at the Mercedes in front. And in fact, that gap is going to sort of check out for the time being, as Truckster into the pit lane. But for what tyre? As Bard's then Energetic takes the fastest lap of the race, so that's going to promote everybody up one. But does Herman the German have a go at Babish? No, he is not close enough to do so, but there's a lot of guys coming out of the pits. Truckster coming out of the pits. There's a few there in the pits, so yeah, the wet weather has gone. Looks like it's getting dry to me, and Quincy will be correct in saying that. The weather has turned dry. It is Salvi, Truckster, and Flip into the pits. Salvi on mediums, the rest on hards there. So Truckster hoping for a long stint. He is on a 2-stop strategy, of course, hoping to go long on this tire as well. There we go, got there eventually. As yellow flag out for Flipnam's Ram, but very briefly, no intervention required from race control, and we're back to a green flag track. So surely that means we are seeing the operation of DRS anytime now. And we cannot wait for that. But of course, undercut advantage goes to Truckster. And we're keeping an eye on the gap between him and Vincenzo. It's currently at 3.2 seconds. So we'll see if that increases or decreases as the lap comes to its end for the Red Bull driver. But at the moment, it's certainly increasing by just under a second as he is going through the twisty corners between 6 to 11 right now and gets a 3-second penalty. The 3-second man has come out to play, and he is getting one here in the early laps of the Mexico City Grand Prix as everybody into the pits there. You saw them coming like a conveyor belt as Moksha nearly into the pit wall there and almost got it all sorts of wrong. Everybody else looking like they're coming in as ADS then gets a 10-second penalty for track limit, well, for speeding violations there. Race chase up into second as well, but how long will that stay? As now Truckster, the one we need to watch out for, is not anywhere near. Well, he's going to overtake a few as yellow flags are out there for the Williams. That is Babbage having an awful exit there. That is going to cost him big time. But it seems to have not cost him enough to lose out to either Herman, but to Rush the Series. So Rush the Series, the biggest beneficiary in all of that in terms of championship contenders, and Energetic still ahead. But Babish there, not going to be happy at all. And guess what? 4 seconds separating Herman from Babish there. He will not be happy with what's transpired there. This is not exactly a high degradation track, or it doesn't seem like one to me. No, it isn't really a high deg track in all honesty. But let's have a look and see how the tyres came out. Everybody but Salvi onto hards for now. Of course, we're still waiting for pit stop. So Babish there with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. And that's already a little bit of a thorn in his Grand Prix at this early stage. Race Chase surely will be the next driver into the pits. Herman with wing damage, says Quincy. Let's have a look. He opens DRS. I'm just taking a quick look. No wing damage for Herman. Maybe for Moksha in front. That might be something. I don't think so either. Both end plates still on. Both the McLaren and the Alpine. Just a bit of a hold-up happening as now Danger David will take the lead of this Grand Prix. But how much has Race Chase gained from all of this? Not a whole lot, it would seem, as he's only just on the pit exit now. So Herman needs to be ahead once he comes through, and he is, but it's going to be a 3-wide situation, which will then become a 2-wide situation with Herman winning out in the end. But I think Race Chase is trying to fight back now, or at least he was, but had to give up the position to Verstappen as well. So that is Race Chase back in 12th place. But 3-second penalties all around the field, and Herman, of course, getting a second bite at DRS as Kwan and Tarkagino do battle into turn 1, and Kwan winning out there. So that's 2 points going the Ferrari's way as it stands right now. As now Tarkagino is forced into defense from Salvi there. Salvi into turn number 4 there, not able to go anywhere. The Ferrari is very right there, rejoins the track eventually. But that took 1 lap too early, man. Indeed, indeed. And also getting a 3-second penalty post-race for track limit violations. But Rush the Series could be also on the warning list there, as he just went wide beyond the white line of turn number 12 on the exit there. Tarkagino with a 3-second penalty. So the 3-second penalties coming at us thick and fast here in Mexico with Danger David. And then Truckster takes the fastest lap of the race. So that has gone by at a rate of knots. It was originally Danger David, and then it was Herman the German. 2.3 seconds, by the way, to Babish, as Babish has been checked out from by Andrew, but no moves there as we go into turn 1. But on lap 8 out of 36, it is looking like drivers do need to make another stop here. As well, the track temperatures will be cool because of the clouds are still here. So the track won't be heating up necessarily, as now Kwan and Tarkagino do battle yet again. Can Salvi take advantage maybe, as ADS and Vincenzo in the background there for 17th gets past. But here we go. Salvi here into turn 3. Can he finally get a move done? And on Quan, he is the closest he's ever been. To the inside he goes. Quan doesn't really fight that too much, but he's going to try and fight back on the outside. But into turn 4, that is all said and done, and he will hold the position. It looked like the Ferrari got the better exit, but just nowhere to go with how narrow the track goes into that set of corners. Moksha is being carried by Herman the German as Herman is approaching his championship rival. He's currently within the 3-second window for, to benefit from Bavish's post-race penalty. But with Moksha in tow, that is going to be increasingly difficult as Andrew now takes the fastest lap of the race from 7th place. I just want to see if he can actually make an overtake on Mr. Router here, who's actually having an impressive Grand Prix up to 6th place after qualifying 8th there. But Energetic there was oh so close to having making a move on Bards there, but of course bit of a thorn in his side there, as now we do see Moksha make a move on Herman the German for what is 9th place. So maybe these two can work together, bring down that gap to Bavish rather slowly, as now Energetic and Bards going side by side, and a lock up from the Red Bull there, but no drama from that as Salvi gets back past Quan there. And Quan and Salvi are fighting with one another into turn 1. Can they get through it cleanly? Yes, they can. Quan had to give a bit of room there. It looked like he was going to make contact with the McLaren, but luckily drama avoided there for both cars, and they will continue pointing it in the right direction for another lap. Andrew again still trying to get past Mr. Walter, but of course Mr. Walter, to the Aston Martin's annoyance, does have DRS for defense. And so he will just have to wait yet another lap to try and have another go. And maybe we will see a second stop coming the way of the front runners. And, well, it would be silly not to think that either, unless if you are predicting a one-stopper, which is all but possible. The track would be very cool in the current way it is, but the sun is starting to come out, so the track temperature will begin to increase as Moksha takes fastest up of the race. Bards, Energetic, and Rush all swapping for position, and this could be contact between the two. There is! The Ferrari is forced into an evasive maneuver, had a bit of a tank slapper on the exit thanks to the contact, and now Energetic is probably going to lose more positions thanks to the concealer. Oh no! What happened? What happened there? Oh my goodness me! Truckster pointing in the wrong direction, and it's safety car number 1 deployed! Truckster there going into the side of one of the drivers there. And now this quiet race has come alive after that controversial moment. What happened there? That is going to go to the steward's room, and there will be punishment. And now this one-stopper is all the more likely, but damage will need to be repaired on that Red Bull vehicle as Truckster gets another 3-second penalty for track limit violations. And Truckster is raging in that cockpit. He is not happy with someone. And he needs to try and keep a cool head there. You can, are you subscribed? Yeah, you're subscribed, so you can rewind the stream now. So, fun fact for all Twitch viewers here, useful for league racing, you can actually rewind the stream now. If you are a subscriber, I do believe with Quincy's badge there, you are a subscriber. You should see it somewhere. I am able to see it on my own channel. So if you, let's see. Yeah, if you literally hit the arrow keys, you can actually rewind. And you can also do it with the slider as well. You need to go about 2 minutes back, and then you can see what happened. So there you go. Everybody there can see what happened there, in case you missed it. So if you do want to know what happened earlier on in the race, of course, if you are a subscriber to the channel, you can rewind and have a look for yourself. You can either use the arrow keys or slide the player up and down the timeline to wherever you see fit. You can even rewind to qualifying if you want. You can actually do that now, but you do have to be subscribed to the channel. Of course, I'm not going to make anyone do that. But either way, if you do, thank you so much for your support regardless. Sun's out. Safety car's out. We are now on lap 11 out of 36. And surely with some people going on the undercut, let's see who has pitted. So, 2-stopper for Bards, Herman, Race Chase, Truckster, Salvi, and Quan. I'm still waiting for a response from Quincy to see what he thinks happened there, as it looked like it could have been an equipment failure, but then again, it looked very deliberate from where I'm sitting here in the commentary box. But then again, I'm not a race driver nor a steward. Of course, that will be, I imagine that will be investigated further after the race, or even maybe in the moment, if Quincy is able to do so. As Truckster with another 3-second penalty for track limit violations. Something is just not gelling with Truckster and the Mexico City Grand Prix. He has been working on trying to rid himself of these penalties, but the old habits have come back to bite him. And, well, he will be continuing now with 9 seconds to serve post-race, and that can increase to a point where you are disqualified if you continue to rack up the penalties. So he will need to be just a little bit careful here as ADS into the pit lane now from 14th place there. So ADS is clearly thinking the 2-stop is the better strategy, and also serving his 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But otherwise there. Let me just go into the Discord here, and I'm just going to see what's happened. Of course, I get to check the Discord through my MacBook so that we get uninterrupted coverage of this Grand Prix here in SSRL Universe. But just to remind you, the penalties that will be served post-race for each individual driver. So we'll still go from bottom to the top. ADS with 3 seconds post-race. Truckster with 9 seconds, the most so far. Tarkagino with 3, Flip with 6, 3 seconds going to Babish as well, your championship leader going into tonight, 3 seconds going to Energetic, and they are probably not going to be the last drivers that actually get a penalty either. Predict some more to come the way of a few others, especially Rush the Siri. I think that he's going to get another, as Truckster now up to 12 seconds. He has now doubled the most in his total, and well, this is just uncharacteristic from the Red Bull driver. I just wonder if he's frustrated. What is he frustrated at? Yep, it looked like the Red Bull lost control of the car going onto the dirty side of the track, as there we go. Actually, Quincy subscribbling with Prime there, so thank you for using your Bezos credits. And yeah, so it was, I may be wrong, but don't blame me. So honestly, as Truckster again, what is he doing? Truckster here is having, I don't know what's going on anymore, chat, as things are happening around me that I am yet to understand. Energetic is all the way down to 15th thanks to pit stops as well. But at the moment, I just want to see if there's anybody talking in the Discord. I don't think there is, but I do see that is just announcements. So, yep, ready up announcement given. There. Salvi lost it in the last corner. Yeah, no, oh, that was back in qualifying. So, yeah, these are all chats now. I will keep an eye on that Division 1 chat for you, just as we continue to go into the race. But at the moment, I think we are ready to go racing again. He's getting himself DQ'd because you can't retire. Energetic is saying it was his fault. Okay, so... so Truckster is going for a disqualification to find a loophole in the rules. I see. Okay. Okay, it is total at 15 seconds right now. So we have a bit of honesty from ADS there. As Hassel there with an emote I've not seen before. Let's have a quick look. As that is a water emote. So I think... as safety car is called in, that is a signal to drink the water, as now safety car in this lap. Let's go on board with Danger David and let's see how he controls the restart. Once the safety car goes into the pit lane, keep an eye on that yellow dot on the track map. And he leaves it till the second to last corner as we go through 17 now. And actually, that was a class restart from the Scotsman. But he knows how long that straight is between 17 to turn 1. We begin lap 14 out of 36 already. We've seen a swap. Rush the Siri is a man on a mission, and it's 3 wide. And there's the Red Bull of Bards now trying to redeem his teammate as we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. There was nearly contact there as the Red Bull had to take evasive maneuvers. Herman benefits from that, and there he is just behind that battle. But either way, Rush the Siri, rapid off the start there, and Salvi is now making a move, and now Herman the German looking to make a move here into the next turn, and now was nearly the Red Bull into the back of the Alpine, but luckily all drama avoided, and now Bards continues on in 10th place, and Truckster now is on the back of Race Chase as well, but otherwise Danger David getting away already over a second, so no DRS to affect him, but now surely we are going to be seeing some second stops from certain drivers that haven't done that yet. And just to remind you of who's done a 2-stop so far, you have to look from Rush the Series, Herman the German, Bards, Race Chase, Truckster, Salvi, Quan, and ADS maybe putting their way up the field, but wait a minute, as oh my goodness me, Vincenzo with a bit of a squirrely exit there. There could be more contact as we go 3 wide into the next turn there. The Ferrari on the outside of the Mercedes there. That's ADS, remember. This is only for 15th place. It's the last of the points here in this league, but through goes the Mercedes on everybody. What a move from ADS, but Vincenzo now is going to try and fight this back, potentially. No DRS activated as Rush the Series ahead has just gone up into 6th place on Verstappen as we go 3 wide again into turn 1, but no such drama this time around. But there's Energetic trying to get out of last position, and at the moment trying to do so a bit haphazardly, but otherwise that's all said and all well and done as Herman lost out to Verstappen. No, sorry, Herman nearly lost it. No, Herman gained on Flip. Beg your pardon. There we go. We got there eventually. And now Herman up into 8th place. Also really needs to get a charge on as Verstappen now with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations there. So has to serve that post-race, remember, cannot be served in a pit stop as Flip has crashed. Flip's crashed. And that's him out of the Grand Prix as we need to see how he's done that. He's lost his front left. And that is safety car number 2. Not even 2 laps have passed. And we have another safety car here at the Mexican Grand Prix. And now you see why David has to start at the back in Division 2. Yeah, that seems fair. He's a quick boy, says Hessel. So even Hessel, who's really only just started watching the channel for these league races, is starting to understand why that rule is in place for guys in Division 1. That just isn't exclusive to David, by the way. That is exclusive to anybody who comes from Division 1 to race in Division 2, usually as a reserve there. So they will start from the back. But otherwise now, of course, I just let you know who else will be coming from Division 1 to Division 2. Herman the German, he will be joining me in the commentary box tomorrow night. Same time as always, 7:30 p.m. GMT now. The daylight savings have now come into effect, so everything is an hour earlier now. And it will now be 7:30, go from British Standard, well, British Summertime to Greenwich Mean Time. So, of course, I do believe everybody else in Europe has had to follow the daylight savings. But for anybody else that might be here from the rest of the world, please do adjust your clocks by an hour. Lap 16 out of 36. We had 2 laps of racing before safety car number 2 was deployed. Thanks to Flip Namsram retiring at this very section of the track. Now the entire field will need to catch up as we will go racing yet again. And believe it or not, Herman the German now up into 6th place with Bavish up to 3rd. And I'm trying to keep an eye on where Rush the Series is. In fact, he is almost dividing all of them as he is in 4th. But Danger David again will be under pressure for the second time here to get this restart right. It's Tarkangino there, and the back as well is the one we're waiting to catch up with this pack. So we will be racing again at the halfway point. Lap 18 out of 36 is when we'll be racing again, and we'll see if David can nail the restart again, but he is rather quick. I would not choose to be close to their speed, I think. It has been a while since I did some driving myself in F1. Well, you got to start somewhere. Of course, you can't really compare yourself to the pace of these guys. They are amazingly quick. Even myself, as a somewhat on and off sim racer, I would not be able to beat any of these guys. I'd probably do well to finish ahead of, let's say, Quan, for example. But in this current circumstance, I'd do well to finish ahead of Tarkangino. So I don't think I would be even close to the pace of these guys. But of course, maybe I need to actually try out for a race here, maybe when I move to America, but otherwise, I do prefer being here in the commentary box. There's less pressure here in the commentary box, which you actually get used to it. It is rather nerve-wracking when you start doing it. I still remember my first broadcast was kind of a rambling mess, But otherwise, I somehow got through it okay, and people liked it. And so I just kept on doing it, and it just kind of stuck with me. A bit of background there for you. No matter how fast you are, I'm faster, and I don't have to prove it. Hello, Underling. Welcome to the stream. Well, you weren't fast enough to be here at the start, so I think you've got a lot of time to make up there, my guy. But otherwise, a warm welcome to you, and I hope you're having an extremely good Monday. I hope it hasn't been too Monday for you. But otherwise, here we go again. Safety car in this lap, and Danger David will restart again. Does he choose the same place to restart, or will he go differently this time? Well, let's wait and see. We will restart in a few moments' time once the safety car has peeled into the pit lane. Danger David really messed that up. That was not a good restart from the Mercedes there. You heard the wheel spin, and he had no traction at all. And now Mr. Wouter could be on for the lead of the race. Here we go into turn one. I don't think it's going to be close enough. It evens out at 0.3 of a second. So now Andrew has also made a move for 14th place there on the graphic. And now let's see if he can go any further. There's a Haas and a McLaren fighting side by side. That is Vincenzo through for a brief few moments, but what becomes the inside goes to the outside, and the Haas loses out eventually. But now Herman is getting close to that Haas, but not close enough, as we have no DRS on the restart. But now there's more battling between the Kicksauber and the Haas, and in the end the Kicksauber gets through. That's Vincenzo back down to 17th place, and now we need to keep an eye on where things stand with our leaders as well. There's just a lot going on. Here we go. Again, DRS will be activated next lap, but it won't be activated down the long start-finish straights. They will have to wait up until this part of the track next lap around. Caution is in Sector 2, but that, I promise you, is a timing, that is a graphical glitch with EA. That is not anything to do with the league at all. As now Energetic has got past Quan, as now Herman gets past Verstappen in the most unlikeliest of places. That is a great move and an important move for his championship. What a move by Herman yet again. Did a spectacular move round the outside of turn 19 in Kota, and does another one that could mean everything for his race tonight, as now we are seeing two cars go side by side as Verstappen and Bards going side by side into turn one. Verstappen has the upper hand for now, defends from the Red Bull, which allows the Alpine to get away. But at the moment, it is currently still Bards back on the attack on Verstappen. They're going to go side by side again into turn four, and that would mean everything if he could get that over under done. And guess what? Bards there looks like he's got it done as we go into the next corner. That's turn 6 there. Who's got the traction? It's the Red Bull. Verstappen did go sliding out of the turn, and he's lost the position. But Bards there gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. And, well, now we need to keep an eye on everything, because Danger David hasn't been able to get away. And now everybody is going to start using DRS. We have technically a 4-car battle for the lead, with Babish needing a 3-second window on everybody around here. But Babish there is finding it difficult to keep the car pointed in the right direction, as now no DRS for Babish as he goes on the exit of turn 17. This is going to be a good one for the Ferrari, opening DRS on this time of asking. He's going to go to the inside. Can he get the move done? He's going to be side by side with the Williams going down the straight. Babish is staying with him, and he's got the move done as the Ferrari, and that is him up into third place, and is now looking at Mr. Outer and Danger David. Energetic and Andrew also going side by side into turn one there. 12th and 13th there, and Andrew is up a position there as Energetic has a moment on the exit, as does Moksha, and he's through as well. Anybody overtaking there at the front? Nope. Herman wasn't quite close enough. It's now the two Kicksaubers side by side into the next turn, but no change there for the time being. We're now on lap 20 out of 36, and all of a sudden we were looking at a wet race in the first 4 laps. Now it's gone to dry. It is now looking like the Grand Prix is going to go at a rate of knots. Most drivers have done a one-stop now. Verstappen really is in between a rock and a hard place. He hasn't pitted for his two-stoppers. Truckster and ADS go side by side. Truckster missing a front wing end plate. Was trying to disqualify himself according to ADS. But other than that, he has continued racing for the time being. And now, well, Mr. Welter still within DRS to David here. Down that long straight there as Babish is in the pit lane. Babish into the pits for his second stop. And, well, Babish's race is all said and done there. Any decent result is surely gone for the championship leader. 60, he is going to go all the way down to what could be 16th place. Make that 17th place with 16 laps to go. That is a rate of 1 car per lap you need to overtake at, and he's going to start a few seconds behind Vincenzo on the exit, as now we need to see battles up and down the field there. Salvi and Tarcangino going and doing battle here into turn 4, and Salvi loses a position to the kick Sauber, of course, just to let you know of their time penalties. All 3 of those drivers sharing 3 seconds worth post-race, and Quan is right behind them, but then he gets a 3-second penalty of his own, and so that means he has to fight these 3 if he wants more points. But Vincenzo also behind there by 4.1 seconds, so Quan there just really needs to keep it between the white lines and not to incur any more penalties in this late stage of the Mexican Grand Prix. As Mr. Welter has spun on the exit of 17, and that means that's free real estate for Herman the German. He is up to 3rd as Russ Siri goes up into 2nd place, but he has DRS there thanks to Mr. Welter. But unfortunate for the Racing Bulls, who's now down to 14th. And that is heartbreak for the Dutch driver as he spins round turn number 17, and he is going to be out of the top 10. Just to give you an idea, Welter, when I find him on my notes, of course, served a qualifying ban last week, so was all the way at the back. And now Welter and Quan are going to do... Oh, no! Welter and Quan make contact on the exit there of that turn, as now Andrew and Truckster are going to do side-by-side battling yet again, but a lot of contact here. Quan and Mr. Welter having a spin there, as Quan and Welter again swap positions, and I think Welter just decided to let him have the place there after all of that. So Quan now back ahead, and any penalty will be cancelled out, but Babish is being allowed to catch up to this. And, well, I did say he needed a rate of 1 car a lap. Well, he's already got 1 there out the way, and he's got a chance at 2 at the next DRS straight. And there is Moksha now up into 9th place on Trugster. So that is Trugster down to 10th place, but of course, remember, has a massive post-race penalty coming his way once we're all said and done. And Herman there is caught up by a massive amount, and Russ Siri is trying to stay with David there, as now Babish has made a move there. Babish saying, well, if I need 1 car a lap, I will certainly have a go. He's already got another one down, and now needs another, as Mr. Welter is slowing down to go into the pits there. So here we go. DRS here for Babish as he continues his charge up the field. He could be on for a singular point here, which he could so need. Of course, he was due for a bad race at some point, but it has, and today is where it's happened, and it's going to be heartbreak for the Williams as he makes another move, as Andrew and ADS going side by side into the next turn as well. That is for 7th place, and Andrew gets the move done. And Herman here is just trying to stay within DRS, but we have an exciting top 3 battle. Virtual race control, do not VSC this. With the final 2 laps to go, of course, that is not likely to happen. Once we get within 3 laps to go, no safety car or VSC is called out, no matter the accident. And we'll see what happens. But anyway, going through, both have DRS there, 2nd and 3rd, staying within a second of one another. And now, gone to lap 24 out of 36, we will begin what are surely the many laps of racing to come. Here we go, down the start-finish straight. These 3 come. And now, well, Russell Siri decided to stay out of that dirty air to keep his engine temperatures cool, but maybe a defense there as well. But I do think he's just trying to get some clean air to cool down the engine as Trugster into the pits for what I believe is his 3rd stop there. So mediums weren't able to go all the way, as Babish now takes the fastest lap of the race and gets another position. He is actually knocking out the gaps at about a car a lap, so he's already up to 13th. This could be a really good drive from the back if this continues, and that is what he needed. So at the moment, it's still coming alive here. And the Dream is still alive there, as he's now behind Salvi by nearly a second. But of course, as he wasn't there at the detection point, he'll have no DRS at the activation zones. As Herman is now really, really close to Rush the Siri there. Of course, we'll keep an eye on Bavish, but I don't think he's going to go much higher than 10th, to be honest with you. So it'll be one to forget for the Williams, but one to remember is Rush the Siri with a 3-second penalty for track limit violation. So now the leading battle for the time being has gone from 3 cars to 2 cars, and now Herman has a doorstop in his way, and he has been oh so close to Rush the Siri throughout the entire lap. And Danger David now is the closest he's ever been to pressure, apart from Mr. Wouter on the restart there after he went for a wheel spin. But remember as well, two stops have been done by both Rush the Siri and Herman. And so Danger David was the one with the most wear on his tyres, energetic into the pits as well for his second stop after 19 laps on those hards. And that means Bavish is up 2 more positions here. And here we go again. Herman very, very close to the Ferrari, but nowhere to go. Couldn't quite get alongside the Tifosi car, but now with the concertina effect, surely Herman can get a bit closer and maybe try for a dive going into turn number 12. If this keeps up, both 11-point gaps for W4 World Drivers' Championships and World Constructors' Championship. Well, there you go. You heard it from the man. This is exciting stuff here. And now, Bavish in 11th place as well, and that was the gap between him and Rush the Siri at the start of this Grand Prix. He will lose that gap as things stand right now, and that is rather unfortunate for him. But now as we go into the next part of the DRS, well, the next lap anyway, it will be 11 laps to go at the line, and Bart is catching this battle, as is Race Chase actually. So Race Chase could be on for a podium if this pace keeps up, but probably not going to be far enough to probably not going to be fast enough to take advantage of this. But here we go now. Rush the Siri, if he needs to make a move, it needs to be now. He's trying to get alongside David, but I think he's waiting for that opportune moment, putting the Mercedes under pressure, playing mind games with the Scotsman as Bavish makes another position here. And with pit stops coming in, you never know, you know. Bavish might be able to make it to 1 car a lap. He's got 11 laps to go, and 9 more places to make up, so he's exceeding the rate he needs. Quad as well is still having a good Grand Prix in 11th place as Trugster takes the fastest lap of the race. I can't believe David didn't stop. Me neither. David there with the oldest tyres by 5 laps, so by the end of the Grand Prix, he is going to be begging for mercy here. And we are now, well, he's going to be wishing that he was on that second stop. And here we go. Herman, the German, Rush the Siri, very close together again. You can see Bart as well in the background, just kind of keeping himself at arm's length. He's gotten outside of the penalty total for Race Chase there. But of course, if he starts battling with these 3, that'll bring him right back in as Bavish with another 3-second penalty for track limit violations. I did predict that he would go no higher than around 10th place, and I do believe that's probably where he will finish now, as the only car due to stop is Verstappen, but he is a long way down the road from Bavish, and he may not need to stop again, you never know. As Energetic and Quan there doing battle into turn 12, and that was Energetic round the outside of the Ferrari driver, and that's him up into 11th place. As now Andrew and Verstappen are going to do battle yet again. Is there a bit of contact between the two? Not at the moment. Andrew and Verstappen leave each other the space, but it is oh so close to touching, as on the exit it is Verstappen and Andrew all with DRS. That is a touch there as we go 3 wide into the next turn. Andrew is late on the brakes, but so is ADS, but Andrew has that momentum, and as Haas tries the over-under, but loses out to ADS, who goes wide and spins partially, and that is ADS back to 8th place there. Herman P1 after DRS potentially. Here we go. Let's have a look. Is Herman going to be close enough here to 2nd place to have a go? Not quite, but he is surely banging on the door saying, hey mate, it's my time to shine. Let me through and have a go, and surely Rush the Siri knows what's happening here, and he really needs to just worry about Bards now, because he is going to be very, very close to this battle when we go on to the next lap. Bards here has only got 1 lap fresher tyres, but he's clearly got the pace. He's escaped Race Chase, as Andrew, Race Chase is now under pressure from Andrew, but he should just let him through as Quan there is overtaken by Truckster for 12th. But of course, we all know how Truckster's race has gone at this moment in time. Massive time penalty to serve at the end of this race, 15 seconds. So needs a 12-second buffer on Quan if he is to keep that all-important to him 12th place. Rustasiri looking to the inside there to try and get a move done on the Mercedes, but nowhere to go. And again, he will concertina himself back to Herman the German, and that might give Bards a few extra tenths to have a go at this battle. 9 laps to go as of right now, 8 at the line. Time is running out for one of these 3 to make a move. Let me through. You owe me Saudi Season 3. Yes, he does indeed. He does indeed. Of course, if you don't know what you're referring to, back in Season 3, in the finale, it was an absolutely exciting fight between Andy Andre and Herman the German. Herman did everything right that race, but on the second to last lap, Rustasiri, missing his braking point into turn 1, collided with Herman. He continued on, but it wasn't enough as Andy had also done everything right, but luck had got his way that evening, and Herman lost the championship thanks to Rustasiri. But now we might be seeing Rustasiri take the lead of this Grand Prix on pace alone, but he's missed his braking point into turn 1. No relation to Saudi, I promise you, but Rustasiri is through, and now Herman needs to make this move, which is important for his race. This is essentially for the lead of the Grand Prix, and he's not close enough to have a go. That is not gonna happen. So now Herman needs to try the over-under because those tires on the Mercedes are gonna be about gone. And now Danger David with a 3-second penalty. Well, that's great news for Herman, but if Rustasiri is allowed to get away, well, it's all for nothing. Herman now knows his race is almost done. If he could get past David ASAP, or maybe try and use David as a tow, but we could be waiting until the next start-finish straight DRS zone in order to see a move, because remember, if Herman sits behind David, he will have a double dosage of DRS going down into turn 1 and then between turns 3 and 4. Here we go though, as Danger David actually departs for the pit lane. So Herman actually did well to just be patient there. Herman should have DRS. That rear wing opens, but it's at 1.5 seconds, so he's going to be draining his battery down the straight. As Danger David now into the pits, he can't go to the end on those hards. What does that mean for the current runners here as they go into turn 1? Herman gets that gap down to about 1.2 seconds. He needs it to be under a second by the end of this lap, and he'll open DRS again. And he might have just about done enough, you know. But at the moment, the gap remains at 1.1 seconds. Remember, he can actually get the win as Rustasiri gets a 3-second penalty post-race, but that can go under review. So I imagine Herman wants to stay close to the Ferrari in case of any mistakes. We'll wait and see, of course. But at the moment, that gap bubbling around the 1 second area as Andrew also made a move. As now, Moksha and Verstappen swap positions. Herman as well. On to the lead on this, but that is the Haas there having a bit of a moment, and that was also ADS having a moment. They go side by side through this section of track. And that is Verstappen back to 7th place for a few moments at the moment. But here we go. Herman the German is now 7 tenths away, and he is about to potentially take the lead of this Grand Prix. 6.5 tenths as he goes on to lap 31 out of 36. Look at the speed of the Alpine. Oh, look at the speed of Herman, looking to return to championship contention down the inside of turn 1. I don't think Rustasiri will fight that too hard. He doesn't, but Herman the German takes the lead of the Grand Prix as ADS has retired in the pit lane there. Don't know what happened, but has he crashed it actually on the entry? Has he crashed it on the entry? I think he has. Yeah, he's crashed it on the entry. He crashed it on the entry of the pit lane. No. Has he? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, the late start killed me. I got to shoot off. Oh, okay. So it was actually a deliberate retirement in the pit lane. There's been enough action at least, so great race in my opinion. I can't believe how this race has transpired, and neither can I. to be honest with you. But now Herman the German leading things as they are right now. And you know what? There are moments in Formula One racing and in virtual sim racing which just feel right. And Herman leading a race, it just feels right. It has been oh so long. It was season 6 in Division 2 when he last won Grand Prix so dominantly, and now finally back to where he belongs in Division 1. Top step here. No Andy to worry about. No Bavish to worry about either. As we've kind of forgotten a little bit about him, as now Danger David takes the fastest lap of the race, but he is oh so far behind. And Bavish will probably lose out to Danger David before the end of this race, as he does have a 6-second penalty coming his way. So Bavish might go down to 9th place there. And, well, come on, Andrew, he can sniff one podium. And indeed, he needs 2.2 seconds as of right now. And Race Chase is starting to get... Maybe even Race Chase could get a podium. Can either of the Astons do this? Bart has, remember, only 3 seconds worth in post-race penalties, but now he's getting close to Rush the Siri in 2nd place. But remember, if these two start fighting and any kind of gap to Andrew or Race Chase begins to decrease, maybe even Moksha as well, that is an exciting fight for 4th place there, as Tarkan Gino is next into the pits. But either way, there are a few battles up and down the field which are starting to gather pace. There's Danger David and Bavish, of course, but remember, Bavish for 3 more seconds post-race there, so that kind of is a bit irrelevant. Otherwise, we have Mr. Router on Truckster, but of course we all know how Truckster's race gone if you've been here from the beginning, and still 15 seconds to serve post-race, so that's also kind of knocked out. But that battle for 4th might be one to keep an eye on, and that may become 3rd if the cards are played right here by all 3 cars behind. Race Chase here, just trying to get a good result here in Division 1. He is now a full-time driver, I believe, in both divisions. There's now Bavish and Danger David going side by side. Bavish fights back here. Doesn't matter if he's got more penalties. He still wants to fight for every position. But that is Bavish now down to 9th. Not only on penalties, but now on paper, on track. It has not been the evening for Bavish to remember. And his championship lead is going to be absolutely slashed down. And perhaps even completely gone, as of course, remember, it is, I believe, 21 points for 2nd place, for 27 points taking the win. Quincy, you might just want to remind me from the points from, I think it's 1st to 5th there. I don't quite have the papers in front of me, unfortunately. I kind of lost them when I was sorting things out, so I do apologize for that. But either way, if you just give me the points, I think it is from 1st to 6th. When it becomes 10 points, I know where to go from there. If you could just put those in the chat real quick for me. If you're still here, that is. If you're not, though, don't worry about it. I can dig those out after the race. So, yeah, 27, 21. Yeah, so I was correct. So, yeah, 27, 21. Yeah, so that lead. So if we go from 6th there, that is... Oh, now Danger David has made a move on Verstappen. Danger David carving his way through the field. Hello, Danger David. But, of course, this is probably about as high as he's going to be, because of the fact that Danger David does, of course, have that post-race penalty to come. Yep, so it's 27, 21, and then 18. Then it should be 15, 12... 15, 12, and 10 for the top 6. So there you go. Yeah, so it's going to be... Let's see, 10 on it, so 6, so that's 10, 9, 8, 7 points there. So it will be a 14-point slash, and that would mean Rush the Siri is your new championship leader. But, of course, 27 points going to Herman. And then, of course, let's see, so 10, 9, 8, 7. That is a 20-point deficit to Herman the German. That would mean he'd... Let's see, 20-point deficit there. 60. Yeah, Herman is your new leader of the championship going out of tonight, with your top 3 being Rush the Siri behind and Bavish down to 3rd there. In one evening, Bavish will no longer be the championship leader. Rush the Siri does overtake Herman on the 2nd to last lap, but will it even matter? Rush the Siri and perhaps trying to get that 3-second penalty removed then? I would assume that's the only reason he's fighting. But then Bavish overtakes Verstappen. But again, with Bavish having 3 seconds more in penalties, he needs a 3-second buffer in 2 laps. But either way, it's Race Chase has now gone and got himself a 3-second penalty, so he'll lose out to 5th place to Moksha behind. But Danger David will now sense that he's got more positions to come, and he is now trying to get right onto the back of the McLaren. And here we go. Final 2 laps here. Both Energetic and Truckster go into the pits for one last time this evening. And I think they're going to both go for the fastest lap, beg your pardon, so they will get the extra point. And, well, we'll see what happens as now Herman, as Rush Series very wide through turn 12, trying everything to defend from Herman, but I don't think it's even going to matter. I think Herman might have been saving up enough battery here to go on the attack. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that battery charge. Let's have a look at Rush Series. Oh, it's not even close. Herman, the German, is going to be so close to overtaking. And let's have a look there. He drains that battery going through turn 1. Saves a little bit for the exit of turn number 3. Oh, he was oh so close, though, to making a move. Rush Series makes a mistake, and surely now this move is all Herman's to get right. There you go. Look at the momentum of the Alpine. He will now deploy his battery again, and surely now he's going to try down the inside. Rush Series defense, though, and that's Herman to the outside, and he's got the move done, but has messed up his braking point. So that is Rush Series back through. Herman misjudging his brakes there, and the leaders are deciding to give us one heck of a final lap battle as now Moksha and Danger David swap positions. He's got past Race Chase, so he's got 6th in the bag here. This is amazing stuff from the guys on the final lap, but remember, some penalties are going to ruin this. And, well, just to clarify, Herman, well, it has been so long. Herman the German, of course, not racing last season for personal reasons. And, well, he has come back with a statement. He is a man sent from heaven to be in hell for a heavenly cause. This race goes to the ones that are still with us and love us through thick and thin, but also goes out to the ones we remember. Herman the German wins in Mexico. What a win from the German, and that is something special there. I didn't say it at the time, but that move was done on the final lap in the final corner. What a win from the German. Absolutely dominant in strategy and in mental games there. I cannot find the words, but that win will mean everything, not just for his championships, but surely goes out to a loved one. What a win. Babish, of course, comes home 9th. Wouter in 10th. Energetic in 11th. Salvi in 12th. 13th is Trugster. Park and Gino will come home 14th. Juan will come home with a singular point if he can keep it on the track. Trugster does get fastest lap there, so he will get the extra point at the end of this, but that would only be going for 3 points there in the way of Trugster. Quan there to the line as Vincenzo does not finish. Hessel's there saying, well driven. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm a bit biased, but as a co-commentator with Herman on Tuesday nights, I am oh so proud of him. The German on the top step there. He's going to be really, really enjoying his celebrations. I've got nothing more to say, really. The champagne sprays on an amazing win for the Season 1 champion. He has had to play second fiddle, but finally, after many seasons playing second best, he finally looks like he is on form. Of course, we all know who run. Fastest lap went to Trugster. Marsha takes driver of the day with the most overtakes. Cleanest driver goes to the Aston Martin of Andrew. Your unofficial results coming out of Mexico. Herman the German, Rush the Syrian, Bards are your podium sitters, with 4th and 5th going to Andrew and Moksha. 6th to 10th is David, Race Chase, Verstappen, Bavish, and Wouter. 11th to 15th is Energetic, Salvi, Tarkangino, Trugster, and Quan, with 16th to 17th, 18th being Vincenzo, ADS, and Flip Namsram. A very good race. GG Herman. Absolutely. And now we will move on to podium interviews, and I think we are going to have many, many. Herman is going to have many, many, many words to say. As Quincy says, I need wink levels now. So there we go. But anyway, let's get this all unmuted and let's get this podium interview on the road. And we have to start with what was an absolutely fantastic win. Herman the German, congratulations there. A win that I imagine means oh so much. Of course, the last time we saw you on the top step was Division 2 in Season 6, but in Division 1, that's got to feel so much sweeter.
Yeah, that was, man, that was not on my bingo card. Like, I had something very strange and, I would say, audacious plan for strategy if it would have been a completely dry race, and also, like, setups for wing and stuff like this was very specific towards one goal, and I was a bit ruined at the start. Then there was things with Bevish. I wasn't so sure what happened there, especially into the pit lane. Lost positions because I had to immediately repair my wing, and then after the second safety car came, my tires were a bit more towards the safe side. I knew if they didn't pit under the second safety car and gave up track position there, the others like Dave and Walter would have probably struggled more towards the end. So was looking forward to a fight with Rush because he seemed to be in the same strategy. Then he got an early penalty. I had my second warning very early as well, but I managed to keep it out. And then it was just a patience game. I wasn't too concerned about how he would maybe keep himself in the DS of David and then maybe work something there, because I was certain the tire advantages from both of us would have been greater to overtake David anyway. And obviously him not being in the DS trim himself, rather leading it, was quite chill. Then I wanted to do it on track on the last lap, locked up. Unfortunately, tires are a bit short already then. And other than that, I'm just happy that all of the work has paid off. And yeah, no matter what happens now, Mexico win is very sweet for me. So I'm gonna take that one for sure. And I'm gonna enjoy this moment right now. You said it yourself, has been some time now in D1. So yeah, it was good. Enjoyed that.
And of course, now I did some points calculations in the middle of the race, and if they are correct, you are now leading the championship, taken away from Babish after his 9th place finish here tonight. You're still thinking about that championship, or is it one race at a time for you?
I haven't stopped thinking about it from race 1, so I have my eyes on it. I obviously didn't have the start I wanted with, especially the Baku race, but overall I think I've been doing enough work and the right steps for me to find more the groove with this game. And right now, especially on Kota and Mexico back to back, I was quite sure there were opportunities to be had, and they did in fact played out. So I'm looking forward to the break. Obviously, I stated before, Vegas is my next highlight. I'm hoping I can have a good Interlagos race. I haven't been too comfy on that track for a couple of games now. So yeah, let's see. Strategy is obviously gonna be a big part again, just like that season 4 race I think we had. And then yeah, take especially the last two with a lot of respect, and obviously overcoming what was a very shitty Abu Dhabi in season 4, and then making sure that my Miami and the Mystery Grand Prix prep are enough to keep hold of this over the rest of the season. We just made halfway, so there's plenty of points to be scored. And yeah, I'm always keeping an eye on Rush and Bevish.
And of course, I just kind of want to talk about your strategy very briefly. I know you love to do it in your interview, so I've just got to reciprocate that for you. But 2 safety cars in very quick succession. Were you, of course, there was wet weather at the start there. Was it just kind of playing it by ear, or was there a definite plan as you began the race?
Yeah, I'm certain there. I'm not sure if there's gonna be another Mexico race, but I'm just gonna say that I was planning to do the one stop. I was very heavy on the factor that we had in Kota with the traffic. Like, even if you get the undercut in terms of overall track time. You don't have the track position, and then if you can't get by on a train that easily, I was certain I could hold it out. That was also why my setup was probably very high on wings compared to the rest. And when I looked at the weather, I was thinking that was probably gonna be a very short stint, and then I always had the double hard as a backup plan, since we don't know the weather when we are selecting the tires. And then after that I was already certain when it came out, the safety car from Flip came out at lap 10, that with the 2 laps of the safety car, the tires would last, because it would have exactly been the same strategy. And obviously you preserve a bit of the tire life under the safety car. Then a second came, and that immediately obviously made my stint look even better. And obviously compared to the guys who pitted 4 laps earlier and stayed on that first hard they put on under the first and the second safety car, the tire advantage quickly swung in the way of Rush and me, because we pitted on the same lap again. And other than that, just keeping away from track limits. And my setup was especially to keep the tires in a nice working range in sort of the fast S sections, especially on the rear. So I was giving a bit of that in terms of pace away, but I could easily close in until the start of the stadium section, which was nice. And obviously, if you're comfortable on the track more, even if you maybe struggle on outright pace on the straight, then it always helps. And that was something that I was looking forward to correct on previous Mexico runs.
The German, congratulations on a fantastic win. Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
I will see you tomorrow night. Moving on to second place driver, it was Rush Siri. You would dare say it could have been lost in that 3-second penalty, but it was that final lap on the final corner that really sealed the deal. Rush Siri, unlucky stuff, but still, it's second place, and you are close to Herman in the championship, and you even overtake Barish in the standings. How are you feeling after all of that?
It's okay. It's kind of damage limitation after I messed up my last quali lap and started really far behind, I think P12. And then, getting that penalty, but I wasn't aware that it was that close in the end. I thought, was there somebody closing in?
Bards was close again, yes.
Yeah, but he had a penalty too, so I think.
No, Andrew, there was nobody else around you.
So on my screen, it showed me that the guy behind me has a 3 seconds penalty. The Bart's, it was Bart's for sure.
Yeah,
He had
that's
3
correct.
seconds penalty too.
That is
So
correct. Then it was Andrew,
so
but he was too far back. He was like 5.2
yeah, he was way
seconds.
too far back.
Yeah, that was it.
And so I didn't race anybody really in the last after David pitted, and before I was just trying to cool down the engine because I let it run hot behind the safety car and forgot to stop early enough. And so I was just taking my time. I knew Herman is on the same strategy. We don't have any other competitors for the wins, so I was just going, and then I had two stupid track limit warnings, and that was it. And then kind of ruined it for me and Herman, because I could have fought him like I didn't have that penalty, but if something happened, then I would have felt really bad, because we have some history with that. And,
Definitely wasn't brought up in the broadcast or anything.
so I couldn't really decide to let's race it out, even if I have the penalty. But if something stupid happens, then I look really stupid. So I just took the P2, and it's okay.
And of course, I do just want to kind of allude to my question that I asked Herman. Like, what was kind of the strategy? Because it started out wet, then 2 safety cars in quick succession. Was it always a 1-stop, or did that kind of make you change to the 2-stop, which of course is the strategy you settled with in the end?
I would have gone to the 2-stop anyways, even without any safety car. I was planning to take the mediums and pit in lap 5 or 6 to go for hard afterwards. So if there wouldn't have been any safety car, that would have been like exactly the same, because I think the rain went until lap 5 or 6. And the safety car, the first one I went too hard, thought, okay, that's the best tire for now. And then when the second safety car came, I knew it would be really hard to finish on the first set and stay ahead. So I just took the second set and went to the finish. It was the best strategy at that moment. So, yeah.
And of course, I was just kind of going back to your question about damage limitation. Of course, 12th in the qualifying. Of course, after I don't know quite what happened. Was it an impediment or or just a mistake? And then obviously climbed all the way to P2. And if it wasn't for that 3-second penalty, as we've already said, you would have been fighting for the win. But either way, a drive like that must give you some confidence going forward into the next lot of rounds.
Yeah, I'm actually really confident right now that I can win every race if I act right. So this race, just gave me a reminder to stay focused. That's my issue. I gotta stay focused over the whole race distance and quali 2, and I didn't do that today. And then get a P2. That's okay.
Mr. Siri, congratulations on P2. Great racing from both of you, even if there was a penalty. It was great to watch. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, man.
All right. Bards, up next to you. Congratulations on 3rd place. I feel like this is the first time we've ever spoken to you on the podium. I could easily be wrong, though. I'm sure we've spoken to you before, but it feels like it's been a long time. Bards, a great race from you, but it really had to come late at the end there. It just felt like you were outside for so long. Talk about that race from your point of view. Hello? Am I the only one who can't hear Bards?
No, I can't hear him as well.
Okay, so we've got an issue with Bards' microphone here. Let's see if we can get him back. We'll just have to wait a sec there, but obviously, just kind of right now. Big words from Russia Siri. Can he back it up? Says Quincy. Mwahahahaha. And apart from that as well, let's see. Bards, just keep talking until something clicks, I suppose. I'll just try and talk over the silence here, but obviously the German, taking the lead as of right now. Of course, we do have to wait for certain things to be investigated, so maybe, let's see. Think of the words, David. So maybe penalties around here and there could go the way, and that could improve Bavish up a couple of positions. Don't think it'll be enough to get him back on top, but I also don't think the gaps would be close enough here either. So I do believe Russia Siri and the German overtaking Bavish. So Bavish goes from the lead of the championship down to 3rd position. That's going to be a real sore spot for the Mauritian driver, and he will need to really take next week seriously. And of course, just while we're still waiting for Bards here to try and get his microphone in order, of course, we need to talk about my mic's on, but you guys can't hear me, says Bards. Okay. You're right. He's on his mobile as well, just to kind of let you know. It's not like he's not trying. Let me just... Have I got him muted just in case? No. No. Nothing there. Unfortunately, Bards, we may have to skip you. That's a real shame. I'll give you another minute. See if we can sort something out. But in fact, I'll give you 2. I'll be generous. I'll be nice. And as now Herman has departed the commentary, remind them that the reverse grid is still on for D1. Oh, yes, of course. The reverse grid is still on for D1. That goes to you, Herman, as well, who just left. And anyway, what was I going to say? I was going to say, yes. So, tell you what, while we're waiting for Bards to try and fix his microphone, I just want to remind you, 1 shot full qualifying for Brazil next week. So, what does that mean? So, think like it's 2005, but you have the session format of 2025. So you have 5 minutes to set a time. That includes your outlap and your flying lap. You will only have 5 minutes within the sessions, and then as soon as you've done your lap, you must retire. And that way, I forgot about that. Cheers for the reminder. I nearly said a word there, which I don't always want to say on broadcast. I made that mistake on another channel just the other week. So luckily I've stopped myself there. But otherwise, so that is for all 3 sessions. Even though it will still have the 18-minute, 15-minute, and the 12-minute format, it is only the first 5 minutes of each session to set a flying lap. If you do not finish your flying lap before the counter, it will be I think, as I've heard Bards there, so just give me a moment, I'll finish that thought. It will be a disqualification. Even if it's over a second, you must finish on 5 minutes on the dot. Bards, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Right, we're in now, we're in.
We are in.
How we
Bards,
doing?
congratulations on P3. I feel like
very
I haven't
much.
spoken to you in oh so long, but either way, it's great to see
Mate,
you.
I've never been on the podium, mate.
Sorry?
I've never been on the podium before.
Oh,
so
I feel like
spoken
you
there.
have. I feel like
No,
you have.
I don't think I have.
Okay, well.
That's why the mic doesn't work. It's the first time trying it.
There we go then. That all makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
But either way, welcome to the podium, and it's in Division 1. Well
very
done,
much.
Bards.
Nice.
First and foremost, congratulations on P3 against some very quick guys. And, well, how did that race play out? It seemed to be rather quiet from you, but became rather impressive.
So I did 100% last night with A118 in a realistic Williams. So going back in the Red Bull just felt completely weird. It took me so long to get used to it. And as we come out of the rain, I just couldn't get it. And the boys, just because they're in the DRS, I couldn't catch them. So I just knew I just had to tyre save and just sit and try and bring third home.
Well, and you did so successfully.
And we did. So
sorry about that. Didn't mean to cut over you there. What
That's right.
was the strategy coming into it? Obviously, as I've asked the other two drivers, we had the wet weather at the start, then 2 safety cars in quick succession. What did that change about your approach towards the strategy, or did it actually stay relatively where you thought it would?
So my strategy going into it without the rain was going to be one stop. I tried it the other night, got about 24 laps out the hard. So I knew I could do 24 laps on the hards. So as soon as that first safety car come out, it was pretty much bang on. So I was like straight on hards, and I knew I could take it to the end then. And I knew some of the others in front didn't box either. So I thought at the end it was probably going to be between me and Rush, but I didn't know if Herman boxed or not. So it worked out quite well.
And I've been keeping an eye on your pace throughout the seasons. You've kind of gone, throughout the previous few races. You've been kind of going from strength to strength for what I've been seeing. And, obviously, I don't think you're quite in the championship hunt for this season, although anything can happen in the next 6 rounds in SSRL. What about a Season 8 championship charge for you? Would that be on the cards, just to, gather yourself up for this season and then go for it next season?
Mate, as I say, practice makes perfect. So keep practicing, keep putting the performances in. Never know. Could be. There's a lot of fast drivers in this league as well. So I feel like on any day, anyone can come anywhere, especially with the wet quali.
Right then, Bards, congratulations on P3.
Nice
Just
one.
need to put something by you, though. Quincy has gone and checked his stats. You were on podium in Division 2 in Spa in a Ferrari last season.
Oh, yes, I was. We didn't do, obviously didn't chat on the podium.
We didn't, did we? So there we go then.
No.
So that's where the mix-up is.
Spa,
But
Was that the practice? Was that the practice one? Oh no, I think I think I finished like 4th or 5th, and then someone got a penalty, so I got moved up to 3rd. Was it? I think. Yeah.
maybe? Quincy,
like that.
Quincy
Along them
will be
lines,
able to
yeah.
stick that out better than I will. But either way, welcome to
Yeah.
the first time podium in Division 1. That much is true. And there we go. Great to have spoken to you.
Nice one. Cheers, Dave. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right, well, that was Bard's first ever interview here at SSRL, and what a division to get it in. Of course, like I said before, we will be back for Division 2 shenanigans. That will be with Herman in the commentary box, but what a win he gets here in Mexico. He takes the lead of the championship, and he has not done that since Season 4 or Season 3. It's one of the two there, but hopefully he can keep it going up until the last round. It will be oh so important. Next week for Division 1, we are going to be in Brazil, but for tomorrow night, we continue to be in Mexico, and Pleasant Stake hoping to continue his lead. Or Quincy trying to get a win in there to try and get his foot in the championship race. We'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. GMT, and otherwise, we'll take it from there for tomorrow. But otherwise, wherever you may be in the world, from everybody here at SSRL, we wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay safe, stay alive, and if you are watching on YouTube, do please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for when the VODs go live. I really do need to set a reminder in my calendar to get those uploaded, but otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.